I thought it might actually be easier to accompany a video in this email and explain what we're possibly on the verge of with human design. So everything, if you ever got your human design off me before, which you probably did, when we looked it up, we used to use up the mainstream human design. And what happens when human design was founded, the guy who founded it was guided to use astrology as part of the calculations, right? To figure out your unique code. Astrology is not the core part of it, but it's a significant part of the many layers. And there's two versions, there's many versions, but there's two big versions of astrology. And what he was guided to use is what's called Western or tropical astrology. It's kind of mainstream what we know in the world of horoscopes and what's not. And there's absolute kudos in that space. However, there's a core belief in those calculations behind that astrology system that is based on where the planets were or the journey they took between 0 AD and 300 AD, right? So we're talking 1700 years ago. And their assumption is that not much has changed in where the planets are in that time. And then what we have is another school of thought in astrology called the sidereal astrology, which some people often refer to as Vedic, and because there's some crossover in that space and within the Hindu space. But Western sidereal astrology actually says, well, hang on a second, we don't think that the planets stayed in the same positions that they were during those 300 years. We think they've actually moved. And not just moved a tiny bit, but moved by 26 degrees. Now, 26 degrees might not seem like much, but actually it can change quite a lot in your design. So what I've seen, I've been full on in experiment, and what I've seen is for some people it doesn't change much, right? So my design stays pretty much the same except for some numbers, my profile numbers. What it also changes is my gene keys or the human design gates that I have, but I remain a projector and a self-projected projector. For other people, like my daughter, I've seen her change from a generator who's quite open to a projector, right? To a mental projector. And this makes so much sense to me, right? In so many ways. She is my awakener and she is a mini me, both the nice way and the really shadow way, right? So, and then what I've done is with other people, I've kind of said, well, look, let me look up your human design using the tropical mainstream and let's look it up using where the planets probably were or more than likely were on the day you were born, because that's your unique code. So your human design remains your unique code. So what I'm sharing with you here is a possibility about who you are. I'm still trying to figure out what this means for all of the human design stuff I've done so far, but I'm taking a huge leap of faith in what that means and courage beyond belief. But you'll be the guide, right? So what you discover about aspects of your chart that change, you'll know if that resonates or not, right? You'll be the guide. I will take your lead as to whether that works. And as always, we have the calculations for your other aspects. So it's probably more the feeling that you get with your design when you receive it for the first time is like coming home. It's like someone being in your mind and going, how did you know that? How on earth did they know that about me? I've never told anyone that. That's what your feeling is with your human design. So that's my ultimate goal for you, is to see yourself, witness yourself in all of your glory, and then to give you permission to live life from that space. So thank you for being part of this experiment. And yeah, reach out with any questions because my brain is just gone bum, bum, bum. Anyway, so much love. Mwah.